You want to get high? Do you get high? Well, we're going to talk about drugs this evening here at Can Angels Fly. I don't know if I introduced myself or not, but my name is Nancy. And once again, we are talking about drugs. I'll start this video talking about some of the dope uh, prescription drugs that are common. And the first drug that is a common prescription drug is oxycodone. And then there is some codeine, some narcos, and some morphine. hmm Now let's talk about some dope street drugs. There is heroin, crack, cocaine, methamphetamines, ecstasy, and cannabis. Now, why am I talking about drugs? Well, because drugs are a gateway into other spiritual realms. There are benefits and negative energy attached to drugs. That's why it's so important to be so cautious. Now, when it comes to drugs, I've heard many, many stories about how people got hooked to drugs. I'm going to share a couple of those stories. But before I begin, I don't want to fail to mention the real reason why I'm making this video. I am making this video primarily because there are so many young people, young adults, teens, children on drugs. And I believe that it is a setup. It really is. Who's setting it up? I don't know. I don't know if it's the demonic forces that exist and they are guiding our higher ups, are very wealthy, to flood communities with drugs in order to, or enticing people in general to get on drugs. But they are focusing on the young people, the children, one way or another. Whether they are being allured through TV, music, their parents' drug usage, those kind of things. But it's too much, and it is out of control. And I'm making this video, hopefully, so that it will fall upon the ears of the young, so that they will understand what the plot is, what the game plan is for them, as well as others that are partaking in drugs. I hope I made that make sense. As I mentioned, I'm using two categories of drugs, one prescription and the other street drugs. I said I would share a couple of stories about how people that I have encountered got caught on drugs. Years ago, I met a lady who was on some type of opiates. I can't remember what she was on. Morphine, I want to say. But she was a nurse, and she got caught up. See how the devil plays? She got in a real bad car accident, broke her whole body up. She was in full cast, slings, everything. She was given, like morphine to help her deal with the pain, and she healed. But by the time her whole body had healed, she was addicted. Another person I met years ago said that he got on drugs hanging out. He said get off work, hanging with his partners, and they taking drugs, so he took some heroin. And he said after his first use, he said, "Uh-oh, I think I'm hooked." After the first use, he said the next weekend he skipped. He ain't go hang out, but he said he kept feeling the sensation and needing it. Said he go out the next weekend, the follow weekend, he hit it again. He said he knew he was addicted, and he knew he would be on it for the rest of his life. Another person I met did cocaine, basically the same thing, hanging out with his partners. And he said he loved cocaine and he would take it to the day he died because it even made him want to his mama. He said he had stamina, made him feel like Superman. I'm like, go on with your bad self. Me personally, I have had oxycodone and morphine with codeine mixed and a bit of cannabis every now and then in the past, y'all, in the past. And so I'm going to share what these drugs did for me. So I can show you how I understand how a person can be addicted to drugs just based on what it's able to offer in the physical realm. When I had the morphine with codeine, I can't remember what medical problem I had, but they had me where I could push a button. And visitors would come visit me in the hospital while I'm in pain. I only pushed the button twice. I pushed the button, and the folks visited me, talking to me, and I'm nodding, I'm swallowing. They like, Nancy, now I'm out. I'm out. No, I don't know nothing about no pain. I don't know nothing about no hospital, and I don't know nothing about them visitors. I was out somewhere. You know, it was all right. It was good. Then the next time I pushed the button, a few hours later, the pain come back. It's intense. Hit the button. I'm drooling like a mud. It was good though. It was good. But when I woke up from that session, I was like, oh, y'all take this button and you take this medicine and just give me something milder. You know, even though I was in extreme pain, I was like, oh, no, that's too bad for me. That had too much power, too much punch. And I was going places. I don't know where I was going, but I was happy, you know. No. The next drug is the cannabis, the weed, the marijuana. Yes, that group drug. I would sit amongst the group and puff, puff, pass. I remember getting so high one time I was on cloud 9.5. Oh, baby, that was way too high for me. I was like, I reform. It's like, you weak. I don't care. Anytime you make it to cloud 99.5 and you ain't left this physical plane, something wrong. And the last drug, the one that made the biggest impression on me, was that oxycodone. That's some bad stuff, y'all. Woo! And no, I'm not really trying to glorify drugs. I am going somewhere with this line of thought. Just ride the wave with me. Anyway, I took this oxycodone because I was in such pain, extreme pain. I had surgery. And I remember taking the pill, and, you know, it takes a moment for it to absorb in your body. So you say about 10-15 minutes later, the medicine kicks in. All of a sudden, my pain receptors have shut down. I can't feel this intense pain anymore. See, this drug was different than that morphine with that codeine that had me slobbing and dozing off. With this oxycodone in small doses, I wasn't dozing off. It was like the pain receptors shut down. I didn't know I was in pain. And I think it would be appropriate to share that I had a hole in my stomach this big, and my core was ruptured open. And so when I say level of pain was out there, but I took that pill, pain gone. It don't even exist no more. That medicine shut them pain receptors down, and I felt brand new. But it wasn't that. It stopped the pain. It was that for 29 minutes, y'all. 29 minutes. I could think crystal clear. Oh, in 29 minutes, I would try to be so productive. I was productive in 29 minutes. After 29 minutes, my retardation set back in. But that drug right there reminds me of the movie called, I think it was called Limitless, where the guy popped the pill, and anything he had ever read, seen, heard of, he could do. He could perform maximum capacity. At least a year into him taking the drug, he was the man. He had built himself up from basically a bum to a millionaire, doing the markets or something like that. I think the movie was called Limitless. Now, actually, hold on, it was just like that. So yes, drugs, whew, they are wonderful, wonderful. But like I said, I'm not here to glorify them, so let me break that down. We know that any drug is highly addictive and it can lead you to destroy your life. So now I want to dive in to where I'm really trying to take this video about drugs. And it has to do with how drugs are a gateway or open up gateways. They're not a gateway. Drugs open up gateways to various spiritual realms. The drugs that I mentioned, just kind of dealing with those, each open up a portal or is a key to a portal that enters various spiritual dimensions. So, there are, I hope I'm saying this right, two ways to get into these various spiritual dimensions. One is through your spiritual walk, natural spiritual walk. I made a video where I talked about the movie Get Out and dealt with the sunken place. I have a video. You can locate it somewhere on my page if you like. But in that video, I talked about how your own emotional place, your psychological place, is a corridor to the psychic realm. By taking a natural spiritual walk through the corridor of your own psyche, you encounter all your deepest, darkest psychological stuff, good or bad. These are your demons and your angels. This is, or that is, you getting to know thyself. And after conquering all that is within that corridor, you are able to successfully enter into the psychic realm. Now let's talk about getting to the psychic realm the other way, the second way, through the drug way. Certain drugs can help you bypass the natural spiritual walk, dealing with your own personal demons, getting to know thyself, override that, knock open the portal to the psychic realm. It is not just the psychic realm, not just that spiritual realm. There are other realms that a drug or various drugs can get you into. Remember, there are keys. And it is a danger in doing so. Let's see if I can give you some examples. Let me start with the benefits first. The benefit of the natural spiritual walk is that you are being guided as you move forward in your spiritual walk. We talk about, when I say we, I mean us, humanity, folks, people talk about, oh, I'm having a hard time in life, I'm challenged, I'm devastated, I'm going through this, yada, 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 I got all these problems. That is your spiritual walk. You are being refined in the fire. You are meeting demons one or two at a time. You are going to battle, whether you know it or not. It may not look like it in the physical world. It may just look like money problems, love problems, whatever, my car broke down. But you are walking in the spiritual realm. Walking, doing battle, entering into certain realms through through those avenues, through those life challenges, I'll say, or through, if you're having good experiences, same thing. When a person uses drugs, they cheat. They are using a shortcut, like a battering ram into spiritual realms. The bad part about this is when you use a drug as a battering ram to enter a particular spiritual dimension, you haven't been slowly prepped, so to say, like you are in a natural walk. See, in a natural walk, you slowly prepped. You might get knocked down, but you can get back up. It's a soft punch. And then the next time you come, you learn how to, dodge them socks or punches by the spiritual realm or by life, so to say. But when you just ram your way in there through taking a drug, when something reaches out, punch you, you don't know it's coming. And you to bypass all the little demons and spirits and stuff that's teaching you how to defend yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or how to block attacks and things like that. See, you learning that. But when you just bulldoze your way into the spiritual realm, you don't have the training. So what happens with some people, many people, when they take a drug, let me give you an example. I'm going to use an example of crack. I've met people that have been on crack. I personally don't know the effect of the drug. I can only relate to the drug through what others have shared with me. What I have witnessed is that people that have taken crack are very erratic, really nervous energy. And they want it. They can hear it calling them. They have a taste and it's not just a taste in the mouth, but a taste in the body, and it's pulling them. So let's see how I can say this. A person takes crack, smoke crack, bam, they hit the spiritual gate to a spiritual realm. They enter it through their psyche and their spirit. And there are spirits there. Crack, from my understanding, has this titillating, sensual fulfillment, like a orgasm. See, that's one of the spirits, one of the big dog spirits there in that realm. So, that person has taken crack, rams their way into that dimension, encountering this titillating spirit. That titillating spirit takes hold of the spirit. So when a person comes down off the crack high and they re-enter back into this physical world, this spirit, that demon inside that realm is still holding on, still pulling them. So now it's a couple of things going on to that person that experienced the crack. One is that they dissolved this world. All the cares of the world, they dissolved it upon smoking the crack. Smoke, Raoult, delusion, deception, obsession. One of the main traits of people that are on crack, they become obsessive. They have obsessive reaction to the use of drugs, and they want more and more and more and more. Why? Because they met this titillating, fulfilling entity that now holds them, holds part of their spirit. They land back in the physical world. They get addicted. And why are they addicted? Because the demon is still holding them. Like, holding them literally captive. Like, come back here. You're coming back here. I'm titillating. I'm filling. That kind of thing. And so the person that is now bound by the spirit associated with the crack, goes back into the spiritual world. One, to dissolve the physical world, and two, by the command of that spirit. Now, it becomes a vicious loop um, of trying to satisfy, to get to that titillating, fulfilling place, that kind of thing. Again, a vicious cycle. Crack is usually, as far as I know, inhaled through a smoke. And I mentioned Raul, the demon Raul in Vedic astrology, is a serpent's head. It has no belly. It's never fulfilled. That's where the symbolism of obsession comes in. So it becomes excessive, compulsive usage, where drugs like marijuana, boom, the battering ram hits that gate to another dimension. I'm trying to show different dimensions. Hits the gateway to another dimension. And that dimension varies. As I mentioned, I've been to the dimension where I was on cloud 99 and a half, in which I was in touch with different parts of the cosmos, getting information and knowledge. And it's not so much that I personally was thinking clear, like with the oxycodone, but information was easierly downloaded to me while using cannabis. There is a difference I've noticed. I've noticed people that per se are not really doing the spiritual walk thing. They're more grounded in the physical world. That they partake of the cannabis from a very material place, a place of fulfilling urges and satisfaction. I've met people where it enhances their libido, and so they do that, or they depend on it to calm their nerves, and they just gotta hit a blunt to calm down or relax, or something like that. And so again, it is with the marijuana, it's not a true dissolving of this physical world. It's still you're still in the physical world, but again, you download a lot of information. And one of those informations is like feeding the libido, or it can do, how people get munchies. It just taps you into a lot of different realms. And so, like, you'll hear like a lot of people that have illnesses and they don't have an appetite, they'll partake in cannabis to increase their appetite. See, that's entering into other realms, other spiritual dimensions for information. And so what the body in that case would be doing, receiving the information about substance and what you need, and so it takes things into overdrive. I hope I'm explaining this right. Where a person that is on a natural spiritual walk, and you can think of shamans and those kind of things, medicine men, the Indians smoking the peace pipe, that kind of thing, is they've already reached a certain level through their natural spiritual walk, in which they've already encountered or tapped in, like, to the universe, and or like I was talking about, the need or require substance. This information that is accessible through the use of cannabis has already been tapped into by the shamans and the chiefs, or the medicine men. And so the cannabis allows them to enter it easierly, because first it was a walk. So, they had to battle all the demons along the way, get to know them, take control. That's another thing I need to talk about, taking control. So I'm coming back to the take control part. But, so when they induce their state induce themselves into that particular state or spiritual realm, they're already familiar with it. They already know what to expect. And I was going to talk about getting control. Getting control over what? On a natural spiritual walk, as a person encounter their demons and angels, getting to know thyself, something happens along the way. And it has to do with like the chariot card. When you look at the chariot card, there is a master who has the reins of two creatures, two horses or creatures or whatever, as feats. And he's in control of the chariot. He's courageous, he's brave, he's bold. But ultimately, what the chariot card is talking about is being in control. Not only control of yourself, but of your lower nature. Being in control of those various demons, whether good or bad. And able to use them to help advance you. It's like when people play video games, you got to pick up this weapon. If you don't pick up this exact weapon, you can't advance through the game, because this exact weapon is what you need to get you on to the next level, to defeat the next nemesis. Well, that's the same thing with the chariot card. That's the same thing with the natural walk, going into your own personal psyche and dealing with your own angels and demons, and getting control, taking the harness of them, because you need those tools to move into the next level of the spiritual realm. You need those. Say for instance, you got an inner demon. You need to be able to control that inner demon as you go into the next level or into the next spiritual dimension, because it is that demon right there that you are controlling, that is a part of you or angel, that will help you defeat the next nemesis, and then you take control of the next. And that puts me in the mind of those Roman chariots that have like 3-4 rows of horses pulling them on the chariot like that. And that's what the natural walk represents: getting that control, building those reins, getting to tame the beast. Where if someone forces their way into a spiritual realm, they haven't developed the harness and the reins and the chains to hold these beasts. You understand? And you haven't been taught. And so people end up entering these realms. Children, I know I'm just going all over the place, but hold on, ride the wave with me. When you enter these realms abruptly through the ramming down the gates to any particular spiritual dimension, based on whatever drug you may take, you are encountering demons and spirits, and they will grab hold of you. This creates the addiction. And what they are doing, see, they have, like, some drugs promote sexuality or enhance your senses. And through the enhancement of your senses, you can be enticed into different activities, such as increased sexuality, promiscuousness. It depends on what demon you end up tapping into, like what drug you take is which spiritual realm you enter, depends on which demons you encounter. They could create people that want to draw blood, and murderers. Again, I talked about promiscuousness, obsessiveness, greed, all kind of lustful things. And if you're not prepared, because you don't have the tool that you needed from the previous dimension, the one you started in first, then your own personal psychological warfare you go through to get those other spirits and demons under your control, so that you can enter those dimensions with power. See, busting through these gates, you're going into them without power. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. And it's very dangerous to go into these realms, and you get addicted, because these demons, either you're going to have control over them or do battle with them, or you're going to go in there empty-handed and they're going to control you. And that's what I really want you to get you to see. That drugs, we got hype and glamorized, like I was talking about, oh yeah, drugs is dope. You know what I'm saying? But the truth of the matter is, children, everyone, that drugs are a battering ram into the spiritual dimensions, spiritual worlds. And in each of those spiritual worlds are different entities. And either you are going in there to either be to battle or to become a slave, one of the two. So don't take drugs lightly. Drugs do have a beneficial quality both in this physical world and even in the spiritual world. But in order to use that drug to help you in the spiritual world, you first have to be prepped. You have to be prepared. You have to do the natural spiritual walk. And then there's the dark side. It's the addiction. And it's the dark side or the negatives in this physical world. Those demons on the other side get a grip on your soul. And they have you steal, kill, and destroy in order to get back to them because they are your master. So, oh, another thing I like to say, and it should have been and said it. When a person is on a natural spiritual walk, as I mentioned, one of the first dimensions they get to enter is through the corridor of their own psyche that leads to the psychic realm. When people burst through that or batter down the gate into that realm, a lot of people get stuck just right there in the corridor. Soon right past the corridor as soon as they enter to the spiritual realm. And why is that? Between that corridor and that first spiritual realm. It's because a lot of people don't know themselves. A lot of people don't know that they have multiple spirits within that they must master, that they must harness, that they must use as a tool to help them drive further, faster, and harder in the spiritual realm. It also manifests in the physical realm. And so what ends up happening, so many people are so familiar with this that they see in the mirror. They don't understand that this is not them. That there is an essence within. And many of us don't know what our essence or our continents consist of. And so to, again, bypass use a battering ram of drugs to infiltrate into these spiritual realms, you're going to come to face with your essence. And many people, when they meet themselves, their internal selves, they have no idea that it was even there in the soul. And they end up doing battle with themselves over and over and over again, fighting with these entities, thinking that it is an outside force that is attacking them, when it's actually yourself. Many times we look at these kind of people and like, oh, they crazy, they retarded, they is demonic. And you can see they openly gone crazy, look crazy anyway. They seem stuck. And the truth of the matter is, they are stuck in their own tunnel, in their own psychic tunnel, on their way to just hitting that psychic gate and got caught up. So this is just a warning. Don't play with drugs, because drugs will knock down the gateway to a portal that you may not be able to come back from. Thank you for coming to Can Angels Fly. Until next time. Bye.